Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever or whenever you may be. I'm DM Foss, and this is the Overnight. And joining me tonight is DJ. How's it going, DJ?
It's going well, Foster. Glad to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Oh, no problem. And Baron, how you doing, Baron?
Doing fantastic.
That's great. Uh, we had out there so far was Ken Thompson. Stopped in earlier and says they'll be back. Hopefully they'll come back. Baby, come back. You can blame it all on me. And Wesley Foster, DJ playing ice. Gizzard Gary, how's it going, Gizzard? If you want to jump in, Gizzard, if you're awake, there's a link in the Gilded and in the Discord.
I just talked to him. He is not able to join. Got to go to bed soon.
All right. That's okay. Gizzard's got a show in the morning at 7 Pacific. What is that? 7, 8, 9?
It's too
10?
damn early. That's what it is.
10 o'clock Eastern. His early bird chat. So if you're looking for something to watch on Sunday mornings, check that out. It's a 4-hour open forum. You can even jump in if you want. And Wesley Foster is hearing us. That's good. Scrolling at the bottom of the screen is the email and the link where you can send comments, suggestions, or corn. Always love to hear from anybody that has suggestions. And gun toting pacifist. I sent you a link. So if you want to jump in, come talk with us. Tonight we're just going to kind of cover some of the Supreme Court rulings and stuff, which I know everybody's talking about, and we're going to talk about. And we'll talk a little bit about the new Gilded server, which is eventually will replace the overnight Discord server. And Baron can explain that because I still don't quite understand what's going on there. But Two Live Moo is out there. If you want a link, Moo, I'll send you a link. You can come in and moo it up with us. But so probably the big Supreme Court ruling there. I think for 2A, the recent rulings, there's two. The New York Rifle and Pistol Association, which said that, what the hell did they say? And there's links to most of what we're going to talk about. Hopefully I got all the links in the description. But
they affirmed that you have a constitutional right to carry a handgun for self-defense outside the home.
So for what was it, 9 states that were May issue? Was it 9 or 6?
13?
13? Was it 13? What?
No, I don't know. Maybe I got 13 in my head because the 4th is coming up.
For the states that had
May issue,
they now are required to be shall issue, which, so like New York you had to prove that you had a reason. So it would allow them to deny a constitutional right. Music Lodges out there. Good evening. Good morning.
Or like Hawaii, where you had no right to open carry and no right to conceal carry. You had no right to carry at all.
Yeah, and that'll come up when we cover. There were 4 cases that were remanded back to the district courts.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about those in just a bit. So the May issue states now have to be shall issue. And I've heard some people complain that, it only affects them. Well, it still affects everybody else because it keeps shall issue states from becoming may issue states. So it does affect everybody.
Yeah, and if you don't think your state can flip, Washington voted for Reagan. So.
Yeah. So that, that was...
Crazy shit can happen.
And it also the Supreme Court said that the courts are supposed to use strict scrutiny in their decisions, which now affects how other cases are viewed.
Yep. That is huge, by the way. Them clarifying that.
It is. And of course, now I can't think of the term for the non-strict scrutiny. I should write this stuff down. Make notes, do show prep. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's not like we're live right now. I mean, right? We're just practicing.
So all these other 2A cases that are in the works, then the courts need to use strict scrutiny. The gun-toting it's not the.
How dare you?
I know.
It's just like when Prince changed his name to a symbol.
Well,
Not quite that extreme, but just.
Did you lose the in the divorce?
I lost a lot in the divorce, but not.
Not the.
That's
Intermediate scrutiny.
It's like the story of my life. It's too much of a mouthful, so I had to cut it down a little bit.
But thanks for jumping in.
Thanks for the invite, brother. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. I saw you were up, so.
Yeah, this is the every other weekend where I don't have my kids, so I'm getting a little weird.
Ooh, so the overnight lands on your off weeks.
So, do you do this every week or every other week?
Every other week.
Oh, all right. So I thought I was missing it last week, but no, I didn't miss it at all.
No,
we don't have much to say.
Usually not missing anything. So. No, I only do it twice a month, so every other week.
Yeah, so timing works out.
The Wednesday chat is the every week chat.
So are we doing it 3 times this month?
Because
it hits.
Crap. There goes my filter. There we go. If there's a... hey, getting us off topic. So today's the 2nd.
Yep.
For some of you, the 3rd.
They don't matter.
So the 31st.
Yep.
Yeah. That would be a 3rd one for this month. So you get a bonus episode for this month. Music Logic said he's listening while working on his M&P 40.
Were they out of M&P 9mm?
He's probably not disabled. That's what it is. He doesn't need 9mm.
He doesn't have skinny girly wrists.
Yeah.
9mm is a good, effective round for those with soft and supple wrists. So,
A buddy of mine down in Mass got his carry permit, and Mass is one of the states that, they went shall issue. So many lawsuits because they were denying so many permits. So many people filed lawsuits, so they went shall issue a while ago. But there's still a couple towns within Massachusetts and the cities, especially around the Boston area, that are may issue. And so now it's completely changed, and he got his permit today in the mail.
Sweet.
So I want to
That
congratulate
is
him.
awesome.
And he was texting me what caliber he should get and this and that and blah blah blah. And I was like, just get a 9mm. You know, it's the most common, very effective round. And I gave him some suggestions, and he's like, wow, that's a lot of information. So he's gonna want to come up here and go to the range and see what's what. But some good news down in the state of the communist state of Massachusetts.
Yeah, and I saw New York is trying to add restrictions to their issue.
And it's just going to end right back up to the Supreme Court. Where they're
well, because they're adding
an exemption for high risk. What was it? High risk locations or something?
Well, that they want social media.
Yeah, they're going to start doing deep dives, like background checks, including social media and whatnot.
This is what it pays to be squeaky clean online.
And guess who's going to be discriminated against? Maybe conservatives?
It adds undue burden, which to me, with the way the rulings are going, you know, will get it thrown out. Because you're putting undue burden on a constitutional right. And the Supreme Court confirmed it's a constitutional right. You know, it's the same as a poll tax. Right? You can't, or IQ tests for voting, which I know some people think there should be, but yeah, it's a constitutional right, so everybody has the right to do it. They're, you know, barring felons and the adjudicated.
I really like that it makes it quite clear that it's a right, not a privilege, and there is no longer any room for discretionary assignment of that right, be it concealed or open, as one of the things that was different about the Young case, the Hawaiian Young case. So I'm interested in what that will do and how it reflects on the rest of the country. Ninth Circuit is really hot on these 4 decisions that got kicked back got remanded.
I'm really curious to see, are they going to follow suit, or are they going to try and continue to rule?
Well, there's some judges within the Ninth Circuit that Trump appointed that the Ninth Circuit is not so left-leaning anymore.
It's still,
I mean, it is
that way,
but it's not as bad as it used to be.
Well, it is. It's not. But can you guys hear that noise?
Yes.
Is it bad?
It's bad. I'm not gonna lie, it's bad.
It's because I've got my furnace right over here, and there's a pump because I've got a heat pump, so for condensation off the coil. So I never know how much the noises around me, what you guys can hear.
I'll just make Pro 2A noises when that happens.
It's inconsequential to the discussion. It's not that distracting, man. Probably much bigger deal to you.
No, it's really not.
And
so I'm the only background noise I've ever heard on one of your streams.
Well, you used to be able to hear the frogs, but
you haven't heard me before. I'm background noise.
I have heard you, but that's a pleasant distraction.
Okay.
I miss the freedom frogs. I really do.
Yeah, there haven't been as many this year. I don't know. It's been cooler, so maybe they're not as many hatched, or
global warming.
Well, because we'll get like gray herons that'll come eat them, and so maybe there's been more birds eating them. I don't know, but so I'm kind of curious to see how this affects the strict scrutiny, how this affects the Ninth Circuit on their rulings.
For example, in case people didn't realize, Washington just passed, or just enacted, or no, not. It just went into effect. The mag ban went into effect yesterday here in Washington.
Yeah, 10-round limit.
Yep.
For magazines.
What the?
you can keep any magazines that you have. You can carry them, but you cannot transfer them.
Ask me how much spare money I have right now.
Any newly manufactured gun, you can't buy it in a store anymore with more.
Well, you can buy the gun. You just
Not
cannot
the mag.
take a magazine that's over.
Now,
10
can you
rounds.
order pre-banned magazines?
Nope.
Nope.
Can't transfer.
Oh,
So
man.
what you got, you got. You can only sell them out of state. That's it. But with this new ruling, that should not hold up. And seeing as California has a similar rule, if that goes before the 9th again, it's going to get struck down.
Well, you would think that, and hopefully that's the case. Fingers crossed. Like, come on. This is It's blatantly unconstitutional.
The other kind of important for 2A was the West Virginia versus the EPA.
That was a good one because
Huge.
the coal plants are going to be able to stay open, and a lot of West Virginians are going to be able to keep their jobs.
Well, for Second Amendment issues, it removes Chevron deference.
Mm-hmm.
So it keeps agencies, state agencies, from
Reinterpreting vague stuff.
well, basically making
Yeah.
law, which it is not in their power to do. But with Chevron versus I forget which in the 80s, the courts said that the agencies. God, I should have pulled that up. Why didn't I pull that up? There's a link to the case in the description. I just didn't look at the.
So you're talking about how they ruled in the 80s, not how they're ruling now.
Well, yeah, just a little background.
So they ruled that when like a law or regulation is vague, that the agency has the authority to interpret it in a way that is actually able to be used. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so the legislation can delegate to to the agency the power, which they can't because it's not codified in law.
And that's what just got overturned.
Yeah, so that should have a big effect on the ATF, bump stocks, FRT, whatever the other type triggers.
The forced reset triggers.
Forced redefinition of a frame and receiver.
Ghost
all
guns.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
So the ATF should not be allowed to redefine anything because there are clear definitions in law. So they have to follow what's in the law. So to me, that is a huge, huge ruling for a Second Amendment, even though it's not technically a Second Amendment case.
Yeah, it's a reining back of, what would you call it? Rogue agencies that are legislating, basically.
Yeah, I don't know if I would actually really call them rogue because they're being allowed to do it.
Yeah, you
By-
get a point.
Um,
You got a point.
it is. Well, it's unconstitutional. It has been said now that it's unconstitutional for them to do.
It's like at this point, Batman's letting the Joker out of Arkham, right? How many times can he break out before it's his fault? He just wants job security.
Yeah, and most. Well, I don't know. I was going to make a statement that I can't back up with facts. So
I can do it for you. What do you want to say? I'll puppet it.
no. That's it. It's not really relevant to the conversation, so it doesn't matter.
Perfect
So-
for me.
those are two huge cases that came down. And looking through news stories and whatnot, it's the argument against is emotion versus the Constitution,
Yep.
And there's a reason there's a Constitution is to prevent emotion and the majority from trampling on the rights of the minority. So even though, say, most people think A should be what the law is, that's not the law. So you can't restrict the rights of a smaller group because you don't like it.
Yeah. For example, if the country lost its mind and wanted to reenact slavery, they can't. Because we passed constitutional amendments outline it. So that's what it's there for.
That was the last time I saw the Democrats this upset, is when we took their state away.
Jet, double out ones out there. Good evening, Jet. And there were 4 cases that were remanded back to the district courts. They were the GVR. I think it's the. I forget what GVR stands for.
Let me look it up.
But so they were sent back to the lower courts for them to re-rule using the strict scrutiny. And
it's remanding. Basically, the remanding is just tossing it back. So we're all on track with that, and basically it means that they just have to address all of these things. And Ninth Circuit, big deal. Where'd you want to start on this for, Foss?
We'll go with the on my list. I've got a list here. See
what the heck?
Association of New Jersey Rifle and Pistol Club versus Bruck, and that's New Jersey's magazine capacity law.
Can I interrupt?
Yes, go ahead.
The links no longer work at the Supreme Court page for these cases.
Yeah, they didn't work when you sent them to me.
Oh, you didn't tell me. Thanks.
Oh, sorry. And Guns and Barbecue. You have a link if you want to jump in, if you're going to be up.
Is that one broken too? Does that link work?
Grant, vacate, and remand. Which link? I don't know where you put it.
I'm joking. I meant the link you sent Barbecue.
Oh. No, that one works.
Shit. Which acronym were you looking for?
Well, that's grant, vacate, and remand.
Yeah. I'm paying attention.
That's all right.
But you did have the Remain in Mexico ruling, which Kavanaugh went the other way on that SOB. So
yeah, we're gonna try and stick to the 2A stuff for this chat.
But I just want to say that we need to abolish the Supreme Court now because of that ruling.
There was I think it was when I was doing research, doing show prep stuff, came across the Vox article that I didn't read all of it. I just kind of scanned through it, but it was about why the Supreme Court should be abolished.
Well, they're clearly a racist institution, right?
Oh, they're definitely a political. They're a partisan political affiliate now.
Blitz is out there. Haven't seen Blitz in a while. Good to see you back. Yeah, they are. But so Young versus Hawaii, and that's the Hawaii open carry ban. Bianchi versus Frosch, that's Maryland's assault weapons ban. And Duncan v. Bonta, that's California's magazine capacity. For us in Washington, the New Jersey and California, those two will be huge for us If they are thrown out, then that throws out our law that was just enacted.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
The New Jersey one wouldn't affect us, though, because it'd only affect that circuit.
Well, yes, it only affects that circuit, but that shows the way the rulings are supposed to go. So
it was kicked back to them, and they're supposed to rule on it based on what the Supreme Court ruled on.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
the way that the framework for ruling on these that the Supreme Court handed down to them.
Separate circuits, but definitely interleaved. The
Yeah.
10-round, the definitions, scrutiny. There are lots of things at play here, and the way they bounce back and forth from East Coast to West Coast is really interesting.
And Maryland's assault weapons ban, which they're gonna, for Washington, they're been trying to pass one for a while, and they're gonna continue to try to pass.
There's one in Massachusetts as well, assault weapons ban since 2016. Well, it's an AR/AK ban. You can still buy a Tavor and a Scar in Massachusetts, if that makes any sense.
So
I shouldn't laugh.
So those will be 4 big rulings. We'll see what happens to that. Does it get squashed there? Does it move back up to the Supreme Court, which will most likely rule in favor of Second Amendment? So there's
one would hope.
So wasn't the magazine restriction ban from California ruled on by the Ninth Circuit already?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why I went before the Supreme Court and they sent it back.
And so there was an injunction put against it, right? So you can no longer buy a 30-round mag in California. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can't.
But for a little window there, you could.
Yeah.
It was like a few days recently and then like a week before that.
See, I feel that one of the more important parts, I guess I should modify there, of Duncan Bonta, as far as the mag ban goes, is, again, I'm gonna go back to this a couple times tonight, guys, is use as terminology. What it tried to do is establish the term large capacity magazines. And you're right, pacifist. It was the ninth overturn. It was sent back. Part of that, the reason for that was the 2-step framework that they were using. And that Bruin just destroyed that. So, the 10-round limits were supposedly a reasonable fit, I think was the term that was used. A reasonable fit for the government's interest in reducing gun violence. And so that tie was really ridiculous. And if you read, I'm going to dig that out there, I hope. The way that they were trying to get that to read was that 10-round magazines have been used in mass killings. If they exist and they exist in mass killings, then the government has an interest in reducing them from being any greater than what is standard capacity. And I don't want to get convoluted there, Foss, so back to you.
I just want to say hello to PNW Woods. That's when you read the dissent for the New York Rifle, there's a lot of emotion in there. That's the one I'm thinking of, where it's not, how does this align with the Constitution and procedural and all that? I think this, because feelings. It's kind of the gist of what I got from it.
Yeah, there was no legal argument made. It was all feelings.
And that's what...
It was like petulance.
When the...
from Supreme Court justices, petulance.
Watching Breyer and Sotomayor, is she still alive? Is she still on the court? Is that the one?
Yeah, she's a Puerto Rican judge.
those two, when they were back deciding whether to take, I think it was the New York one, and they were said, we don't think, I don't think there should be more guns on the streets. That's not your job. That's not what you're supposed to be ruling on. You're supposed to be ruling on, does this match the Constitution? Not, I don't like this, so I'm going to vote against it. You hold this thing up. You hold this thing up. Do they match? If they don't match, then you make a ruling on whether it matches or not.
And they should be ruling strictly based on the Constitution. That's literally their job description.
And that's one of the things that Thomas was sure to do: historical perspective and definition. Having gone back to that, it goes back to cases 20, 30 years back where there have been so many attempts to push at the definition of the Second Amendment and its individual terms. Gathered together, we understand them. These interpretations now have to fall back to the original intent. It's framers' intent on this one. Thomas did a smart thing.
Thomas is a genius.
Ken Thompson, who was the first one to comment and had asked, do I win something for being first here? If you email me your address to untacticalfoss@gmail.com, I'll send you some stuff. But
Foss and I are from Washington.
Out in the chat, PNW Woods is also.
Yep. Pray for us, those poor bastards.
May I be an honorary Washingtonian?
You sure can.
All right.
You can't have mags over 10 rounds now.
Oh, no. I rescind my request. Send
Okay.
it back to the
Right.
Washington's a beautiful state, but New Hampshire, you can have. I'm sorry, barbecue.
No, that's cool. You're saying important stuff. I'm just sticking around.
Your mic sounds a little muted, bro. You need- Turn that.
I think he's sounds like he's away from the mic, doing something while he's talking.
Washington's a beautiful state, but up here in New Hampshire, which is also a beautiful state, you can have 30-round mags. So
Yeah, our state turned really fast because it used to be very, it was liberal politically, but we had pretty good gun laws.
yeah,
Relatively speaking. And then just in the span of a few years, it's gotten a lot worse. So, it's an example how things can change fairly quickly.
From my perspective, it's almost as like the bigger Amazon got, the worse Washington got. I don't know. Maybe that's
You develop
Maybe I'm
that
seeing
corollary? No,
I think you're
please develop that
conflating
corollary.
issues, bro.
Well, it's kind of all the big companies got bigger. Amazon, Starbucks, Boeing probably didn't get bigger in Washington because, yeah.
we have too many unions. They're
I
moving
know
the
what you're
jobs
saying,
to other
boss.
states.
As far as like
Which
a
is-
state turning, up here in New Hampshire, it's a purple state. Live free or die is literally the motto of this state. Very good gun rights, especially since Governor Sununu took over. He really championed gun laws up here. We passed constitutional carry. But in 2018, in the midterms of Trump's presidency, the Democrats took over in Concord, which is the capital of New Hampshire, and they really started going after guns in like a big way. And the only saving grace for us was Sununu with his red pen up in the Capitol, vetoing all this crap. So I can see exactly what you're saying. Because if there was a Democrat governor in office at that point, we would have lost all our gun rights. We would have 10-round capacity limits, assault weapon bans, all that crap.
How do you pronounce your governor's name?
Sununu,
Sununu?
Sununu.
Gunpowder Beauty's out there.
It's very, very simple spelling.
Good evening.
Yeah, it's an uncommon one. Sununu is definitely. I figured barbecue was going to jump in with snoo on that one, and I think maybe was that what you were getting at there, Baron?
No.
No, I
Sununu's
wanna
a
say
definite
that-
rhino, but he's a 2A advocate.
A little levity there.
I was gonna. I was thinking Sunoco, not Sununu. So that kind of brings up another topic where all these favorable rulings are now the law of the land
Yep.
for the foreseeable future. But if the makeup of the court changes, these can be revisited and overturned, whether it's constitutional or not, based on who the judges are.
Oh, I
And-
think just go and revisit them. There would have to be a case that comes forth that challenges on new grounds that would then make them have to go back and look at it and go, oh, okay, and then change it. So
No, that's true, but it can be because that and Congress can try to make this logical and understandable. Confused and muddled thoughts. With the Constitution, there is a process there to change the Constitution, to add or remove amendments. So the Second Amendment can be eliminated.
Yep.
It's not likely. I don't believe it's likely, but there is a process there to where it could happen, which is partly why I think it's important to grow the 2A community, gun ownership. That's, in my small way, my purpose for what I'm doing on YouTube. Trying to show those who are not familiar with guns or don't understand guns that a lot of the fear mongering that are around guns are lies. And some people don't think, that they believe if you're not already here, I don't want you here. And I don't agree with that position. Just because if there are more people who do not like guns than like guns, if there's enough of them, if there's 60% of the states that become I don't like guns, they can remove the Second Amendment. And like I said, it's not, I don't believe it's very likely, but it is a possibility.
Well, on that, I mean, 'cause I definitely get what you're saying. Not likely, very unlikely. Is anything possible? Sure. What's going to happen in 100 years? Who knows? But right now, not going to happen. Half of the states in the country are constitutional carry. And we had how many states try for it and get really close. I mean, heck, we passed it here in Pennsylvania through the House and the Senate, but our governor vetoed it. At the beginning of the year, we were looking at possibly 28, 29 states by the end of the year getting constitutional carry. Now that has faltered and we're still stuck at 25, maybe looking at 26. But, there's still a lot of states that are looking to swing on board. So that very soon could be pushing that 30 threshold. So really then we have that 30 out of the 50 states that would have constitutional carry and be saying, hey, yeah, we like our gun rights. We're doing this.
That is the one thing that I wouldn't say I find encouraging. It's the fact that there are half the states that are constitutional carry. That when I hear doom and gloom, I tend not to fall in line with that because there are so many states that are constitutional carry. But I still think we should be working to grow gun ownership and Second Amendment community because it helps protect all of that by rather than relying on the Supreme Court, which can change and rulings can change because the makeup of the court changes. If the mass of people understand their rights and believe in their rights, then that's the best way to protect the rights.
Absolutely
And
agree.
We touched on this on the other overnight where we did diversity in 2A. It wasn't just diversity of like your biological makeup. It was diversity of thought too. If you're on the left, we want you to be pro-gun because it's your right to. And that's the only really like foolproof way of saving 2A is get everyone in the country on the same page. It's not going to be easy.
And where you leave it there is essentially one of the greatest challenges, but I think it's also one of the greatest victories. Last year, Barbecue and I were involved in many conversations last year in the run towards just the 22, and it was there's this almost festival atmosphere in some of those discussions. The optimism that we were sharing, and Barbecue, you said you ran up to 30 out of the 50. So like. The tipping point, where do you think it's going to be? I mean, you're right there at 3/5, and I know that you're a math kind of guy, so I don't want you to have to focus on the numbers so much, but where do you see the tipping point to where there are not enough states left that could speak so strongly outside of ones like California, whose voice seems to be so strong right now?
Tipping point for what?
Getting beyond that halfway mark. I mean, we saw, running up to the halfway mark of the 50. And so the momentum that's gotten it up to the point where it is now, and the anticipation of the new seasons coming in and state legislatures all over the place. I mean, the tide is definitely rolling to the advantage Second Amendment.
Well, if you're just talking about getting past the halfway point, then the tipping point would be 26.
Yeah, it was kind of a confusing question there, DJ.
I mean, at what point? Okay. At what point does the momentum become an irresistible force? Is that better?
I think we've been there for a while now. It's just getting everybody else on board and trying to catch up. Like I'm old enough to remember when gun rights were guaranteed, like the Second Amendment is supposed to be. When I would walk into my local sporting goods stores, even in Massachusetts where I grew up, and see Uzis and AK-47s hanging up on the higher parts of the wall in the sporting goods section, so you could see them throughout the entire store. And growing up thinking that I'm going to buy these rifles when I get older. And then, when I turned 18, there was bans and stuff in place. And then seeing it go full swing to where I can buy them. Because I never thought I was going to ever be able to buy those things in my entire life once the bans went in place. But then all those bans were lifted and I was able to buy those things, which was very liberating. And so I think the tide has swung and the tipping point we've already tipped that point. And it's just staying on top of it and keeping up the progress and just staying at it and furthering our rights.
Agreed. I think that they're the most substantially those goals are more than starting to be being met. They are being met. One of the things that I think is like the greatest difficulty is the fact that the general public has been spoon-fed, essentially in an unchallenged manner, such significant misunderstandings and misinformation. So, where Foss started this in trying to bring, the education and the normalization. Yeah, I'm glad that you are also optimistic, pacifist.
I just want to say hello to Fiend Dog 27.
Nice. I haven't seen him in a long time.
So, DJ, were you angling towards like a national constitutional carry?
I guess, Barbecue, what I was trying to do there is just like maintain that optimism and that surge that surge in energy and in states that we're falling into constitutional. It's like, yes, when is it that becomes the irresistible force? That momentum in constitutional carry.
Yeah, I'm with pacifists then. We've been there for years now. Just think in the last, 2-3 years, how many states that we've gotten constitutional carry passed in. Look at that in the last decade. Look at how many states tried just this past year. Then when you look at those states, look at how many of those states have tried in previous years. And they keep getting closer and closer. It's just they got to kind of fine tune things each time to get it through. And, you have people that complain about, the constitutional carry that got passed in Texas because there's this little thing there, there's that little thing. Well, great, you've got constitutional carry. And now those little things that had to get put in there to get you constitutional carry, now you can chip away at those and fine tune it to where you really want it as you go, instead of just going, oh, we wanted all or nothing. Well, that all or nothing doesn't get you a win then. You got your win, now fine tune that to where you're not just winning at Talladega, you're winning the Daytona 500. Same thing happened in Ohio. People wanted to nitpick over, oh, they put this in there. That, well, great, you got constitutional carry. Congratulations, you're not having to fight anymore. And that's happened with a lot of states where it falls through because they didn't want to accept something in there, whatever. So, yeah, look at the states that keep fighting for it, things like that. Yeah, we, I think, are well past that tipping point. But if the question is ever about nationwide constitutional carry, I don't think it will ever happen because of the 10th Amendment and states' rights.
If they keep flirting with lifting the filibuster, then we'll absolutely have it. And probably the next session after the midterms, if they want to play that game.
No. And say, because even if we won the House and the Senate, great, it goes to Joe Biden's desk, it gets vetoed.
Well, we
have to have a veto-proof majority to do that.
What exactly is a veto-proof majority? Is it 60?
Might be 66. Wow. I don't remember which.
And of those 50, was it 15? Pardon. Was it 15 that walked across the aisle on it and made it like as bipartisan as it was going to be? Was that number about?
It was 15. It was
okay. 15. So how many of those will no longer are gone next session?
None. Okay. Most of them aren't up for election. Well, shouldn't say none. Like Pat Toomey's retiring. Actually, no. I heard 4 of those Republicans are retiring this year. So 4 of them are actually gone. But what are they going to get replaced with? Here in PA, probably going to be Mehmet Oz. Great, because he's going to be so much better than friggin' Toomey. Honestly, I'm expecting him to be worse. We'll see what happens, though. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and wait until his voting record really shows what he's in favor of. So, yeah. But a lot of the other ones, they're not up for election.
Well, you have to blame Mitch McConnell, Mitch the Squish McConnell, because he's the minority leader who was the majority leader on many occasions. That they rallied around because he told them to vote that way, and it's like,
that
he's from Kentucky. Why the hell is Kentucky still electing this guy?
Like I said, that only picked up 4 extra. And before that, they already had their 10. And I say 4 extra because there was 15, but they had 14 plus McConnell. That made 15.
And he did that after he made some type of pact with Trump. What the hell is he doing?
I don't really trust any of the politicians. The fact that they want to be politicians, because you look at like Lindsey Graham. How many times has he been?
He has moments too where he is unbelievably good, but then the majority of the time he's a shitbag.
Yeah, and when he does something that somebody finds favorable, then he's great. and everybody's talking about how great he is, but he's, he has a history of just kind of doing things that aren't great.
He's just short of being a caucus with the left.
And that comes, that brings up like celebrities where, they'll say something that's pro-gun, but, they've been anti-gun liberals forever. They say something that's pro-gun, and then they'll be that for a while until they're not that. Like McConaughey, people were considering him based until he came out with the video that he put out.
Yeah, he moved to Texas from California, so everybody's
Just
like,
just
"Oh."
because somebody makes one statement that aligns with what you think doesn't. You have to remember that doesn't mean that's what they are deep down. That's might just be what they're saying because that's what they feel right now. But if they have a
Isn't he
history of
from Texas,
yeah, they don't have a history of being that, then you have to kind of question, is that what they really are?
Yeah, he's from Uvalde.
That I didn't know he was. I knew he was from Texas.
Yeah, he's from Uvalde. He lived in California for a long time, left there because he couldn't deal with the taxes or pressures of California, moved back to Texas, and then the Uvalde thing, he stepped up as a local to pass gun reform.
And I'll say, I'm not saying that people can't change their opinion, but until they show they have a track record of that new opinion, you can. Yeah, now I'm just kind of losing the thought.
constitutional carry nationwide. I hope it'll happen because otherwise we're never getting it here in Washington.
The fact that 15 Republicans were on board with gun legislation, the biggest gun legislation in 30 years, it makes my stomach turn. It absolutely does. I mean, that week that they passed that, it was such a good week for this country, for life and liberty. It was such a great week besides that, which I think is a double black eye on our movement. I cannot believe that 15 Republicans got on board with that, with the support of the minority leader, Mitch the Squish McConnell. It makes my stomach absolutely turn.
I wouldn't call it a black eye because
they don't represent the community.
Yeah, I was not surprised at all by that because there's a lot of Republicans who don't like guns, don't think we should have guns.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Ronald Reagan, for example.
Yeah.
As well as the persistence of buttery, for sure.
With honestly, in a sense, I'm glad it happened because I get tired of people saying Republicans this or Democrats that. Stop worrying about what their party affiliation is. Worry about what they say and how they vote.
Yep. That's why primaries are so important.
Yeah.
Mitch McConnell should get primaried.
He should have been primaried a long time ago.
In case in point, on the whole voting thing and Mitch McConnell, back in 2018, whatever, when we had the House, Senate, and Trump, and national reciprocity and the Hearing Protection Act passed the House, go to the Senate, and McConnell will not bring them to a vote. Yeah, and they sat there for months, and then who cares? I don't care if they had the votes or not.
Yeah, they should have.
Bring it to a vote because I want to see
put everybody on record. You're right.
Then they had the Vegas shooting, and then we lost bump stocks.
Yeah, and that Trump that was an executive order, right?
No,
Legislation in like
His order was for
previous
them to look
administration.
into it, and then they did it.
he told the Department of Justice, "Hey, see what we can do about this." And they're like, "Oh, thank God, you're amazing." ATF, guess what? Reins are off. Have fun.
Yep.
And then you have Trump that says the attack on the Second Amendment is over. And he's like, well, we should take the guns first and then due process later. That son of a...
Well, heck,
Hopefully,
he said that before he got
he does
elected.
not get through the primary process, because I do not trust him.
Well, his
Look
son...
at his track record.
His son is a huge Second Amendment advocate. And his daughter... He's kind of got his son, Eric, on one side and his daughter on the other side, who is kind of anti...
He's more of what he can make money off of.
Yeah. So when did we hear about Trump's son being a 2A advocate until they got really thrust into the political spotlight when his dad won? Then it was, oh, he's going on these big game trophy hunts, which I'm sorry, I don't see big game hunting as being 2A.
Well, he's on board with some Silence Co. and companies that are very Second Amendment companies. He's heavily invested in them for sure.
Are they pro?
Is he running for president, or is his father?
Profit?
His father is, but
So it doesn't matter.
What I'm saying is that because he keeps his family very close, he has his son Eric on one side, which is he's very pro 2A, and then he's got his daughter Ivanka on the other side, which is she's kind of negative 2A. So he's got both sides pulling at him.
But would we say Silence Co. and companies like that are pro 2A or pro profit? Because if they're pro 2A, I would say they'd be lobbying to get silencers off the NFA, have the Hearing Protection Act passed.
Yeah,
and
Eric Trump has done commercials about making silencers to pull them off the NFA.
Yeah, it was actually a little bit more than that. It was also going to eliminate the transfer fee, the $200 on silencers, and it also had something to do with registration or licensing for like states or municipalities. It was going to forbid that. Like Hearing Protection Act 2017, there were a lot of related bills underneath that one. There were like a half a dozen of the things that were referred out to other committees because they had to do with IRS code. So I'm not sure. Maybe Barbecue can head check me on this. I think that's one of the reasons why it just didn't. I don't want to say circle back around, but I just did.
Is any of that going to be circled back on?
I'm not aware.
None of the same people are in there.
Let me play this for RNL displays. RNL Displays, it's New York Outcast, for those who might know him. Makes displays. Let me go that way. There's a couple back there. I am not paid by him to advertise him, so there's a couple of them I bought. He did send me one. I will say that the one that that one right there, that's the one he sent me. But they're pretty cool. Check him out. And he's running a 4th of July sale discount. Which I don't remember how much it is off. Do you, DJ?
100% off.
Oh wow, I'm going to sign up right away. I believe
Maybe
the
not.
number. I believe 1776 was involved in there somewhere. I don't remember if that's the code or the discount, but I'll check into that and let you know.
Let me drop a link for it real quick. It's www.rnl.
The first person to click that link gets the 100% off coupon. It's one use only. Good luck.
You're gonna get us. You're gonna get somebody in legal trouble here.
I'm already in legal trouble, don't you know?
And then let me play. Where'd it go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? There we go.
Disco is dead. Disco is not dead. Disco is life.
The Wednesday night mouse party. That's the weekly Wednesday night chat at 10:30 p.m. Pacific, and it's more of just kind of hang out, have fun. Nothing too serious chat.
Always a good time. And Foss, quick report on that discount code and the discount itself. Both are 1776. So with that code 1776 at checkout, you saved $17.76. Creative use of the holiday and our history.
So we are eventually going to move off of Discord to Gilded, which is similar to Discord. It's kind of like a more interactive forum, I guess you could say. I don't know how to describe it exactly, but a place to hang out. You can share memes, pictures, videos, stuff like that. And Gilded is a lot more customizable.
Way more.
And I don't understand how it works. So Baron, if you can tell us about it.
Okay. Has anyone in here used Discord before?
Yeah, I've used
panel.
Discord. Very, very confusing.
Have you ever tried to upload a file?
I used to upload pictures and videos to a couple channels on there that had the page.
So you noticed they have a file size limit of 8 megabytes. Have you?
No. I
Tiny
never
file
did.
limit. And if you want to upload something bigger, you have to pay Discord $10 a month to upload something that'll be 100 megabit. Gilded, for example, for free, will let you upload 250 megabit right out of the gate. That alone, you can upload a quarter of a gigabyte video on Gilded, and you, what would that be? What's 8 megabytes in gigabytes? 0.008. It's tiny, but yeah, Discord sucks. Long live Gilded.
Yeah, that's going to save me $10 a month because I've been paying for the Nitro and I haven't even been using Discord in any appreciable way in like a year. So that's going to help me shed more than 100 bones, man. So I'm digging it.
I went through our server. We have a little over 40 members. A fifth of them all were paying for Discord Nitro. That server alone was spending more than $80 a month just to upload something bigger than 8 megabytes. It's insane.
The insanity was sometimes chopping up like video files to get them small enough.
Yeah.
Until I did the Nitro. Yeah. So this is it's a heaven sent thing. Dig it.
Mike McClune's out there. Good evening. And he's saying Discord, yes, it's difficult to navigate and use, but I thought it was just me.
Nope.
No, it's definitely difficult.
Gilded is just as difficult to learn, but it's free. So you're not paying for a headache. And it's better than what you'd get if you paid for Discord.
Yeah, there's a lot of features in there that you can manipulate, and which I don't really understand. But so there's
we have like an Instagram media channel. We have a forum channel. We have a chat, like a live chat channel. You got streaming channels, voice channels. We got a YouTube feed. You got a show calendar. You can see every single show we're going to go live for. It's amazing. And it's all free.
And a little encouragement for anybody who's used Discord before. It's not a completely intuitive switch, but some of those difficulties aren't as pronounced. So I hope that everyone else also finds Gilded server to be a lot more user-friendly. Easy to pick up.
It is very similar. And the main reason for going over was originally it was censorship. Discord was censoring people for off-platform activities. So like if I said something heinous on YouTube, they could delete the whole Discord server.
Yeah, they just released their new terms of service, and it was a lot stricter. So
they're also scanning every single thing in your server. Yeah.
Pink Panthers out there, good evening, good morning.
And the straw that broke the camel's back, we had a 24-hour period where we had somebody try to hack into the server and delete it. Then we had someone come. Actually, I probably shouldn't say this stuff. We had really bad things happen on the server. But yeah, the community over on Gilded is much less toxic. No one's tried to hack me. It's been nice.
So, it's kind of exciting to see all the new features and stuff that that'll get rolled out and we'll be using. So hopefully, we'll get people to join us over there, come hang out, have fun.
And if you join the server, you will actually see, I don't know, what about a dozen YouTubers in our server that you might recognize?
And currently, the enthusiasm that people are showing for it, it's a real mood lifter. It's a nice silver lining when it comes to our communication and our comfort and our networking, the resources. It's a lot of ups, gents.
And for those who, it's new, so it can be a little intimidating. And I'm one of those I'm still trying to understand how to navigate it and understand it. So it might take a little, time with the learning curve, but
the cool
should
thing,
be fun.
You also do not need an invite to join our server. All you have to do is go to the URL, and it is gilded.gg/overnight, and you'll get into the server. Let's see if we can pull that up. There it is. If you go to that URL, I put it in the comment on the live chat. It should be in the link below the video, but if you go there, you can actually view before you join.
Pink's having surgery. Well, good luck with your surgery. Hope it's not anything too serious.
Best wishes for success in the procedure. So has anybody become aware, and if not, I'll just prop one now, that a tutorial is developed to help foster people's willingness to accept it as something that is not such a disgustingly difficult thing to manage?
Gilded does actually have their own YouTube channel where they publish tutorials on how to do things. And every time they add a new feature, they'll add a new video on how to use it.
He's not getting surgery.
His PC is.
I misread his comment.
I didn't want to interrupt, but
Still, best of luck with the procedure.
That's almost even worse, losing your PC.
Oh. Valuable member of the family.
Yeah, I've got backups to backups, and for like my videos and stuff.
Check out No Fear Foss. All right. And thanks for the reco on those tutorials there.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so one of the cool things we just implemented today, we have a gun porn channel that's basically an Instagram feed. You can add your photo to it, and if we ever do a Gorn episode again, we'll just go right through that channel. Make things a lot easier.
Oh, that's kind of everything I guess we had for the chat. Anything you guys want to talk about, discuss?
Yeah, one more thing on Gilded.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
We're not the only server over there. Currently, there is a Gun Websites has it up for his patrons. So if you join his Patreon, you'll be able to join his server. Gizzard Gary, I think, is doing the same thing. It's Patreon only, right?
I don't know.
I believe it is at the moment. The Washington Civil Rights Association has their server up. It's not open yet, but it might be available in the future. But it's very exciting. Woods also has a server going, and he posted the link.
Oh, is that for link for his?
Yep.
Ah.
And we've been over there since March, and we haven't had any issues with the community over there. It's been quite nice. Because Discord can kind of be a cesspool. I don't know if you've noticed.
In the rear view mirror now, man.
And we still do have a Discord server, but it is going to be going the way of the dodo here soon.
So Ken Thompson says, wow, this is exactly the same as Discord, but not communist. Oh, there was a comment I meant to get back to. Not sure where it went. Because I put a star on it, and now it's gone. Well, that's odd. But it was Woods made a comment about technology. I gotta find it. What's it? Technology will make guns obsolete in our lifetime because drones and robots 30 years ago. Oh, you need more punctuation.
There was a period before the 30.
Yeah, because of drones and robots. 30 years ago, phones were barely mobile. I disagree. I don't think technology will make guns obsolete. The advancements in technologies will potentially make lives better, easier. But as long as there are humans, there will be need for guns.
I think I know what he means.
Skynet.
He's going to have Rosie from the Jetsons. He's going to have one of those, except bulletproof and with knives for hands. So if anyone breaks into the house, it'll just Swiss cheese them.
Yeah, probably not.
Who wouldn't want a lethal Rosie the robot?
Technology may eventually get us there, but it's like the flying cars. How long have they been talking about flying cars? We still don't have flying cars, and it'll be a while before we'll ever see flying cars.
How about a DARPA dog with razors for teeth?
Oh my God, those are so scary. Those
Can you
DARPA dogs.
imagine? One
According
with
to the
mouthful
Jets,
of knives.
flying cars were like last year. They're like
Last
so
year's
last
model.
year, bro.
Yeah, I thought he was riffing on Skynet. I thought we were looking for the, for the Terminator. Self-awareness. Just that singularity.
Pink says, I will be in line for the first laser gun.
The Navy has them.
Well, there's been lasers for... Because there was one
Reagan?
developed to shoot down ICBMs that was mounted on a jet.
Well, wasn't Reagan's thing Star Wars
Yeah.
that was decommissioned by the Democrats?
Did it even work though?
Space
Well,
platform.
it
They
didn't
were
have
going
the
to
point,
put
but they never had the chance to advance the technology, and now the Chinese are like right on top of it.
Well, the plane-based one, it worked kind of, but wasn't powerful enough, so it didn't really work that well enough, and was eventually scrapped. Because it sat at the Boeing field in Seattle for a long time.
Supposedly, the Chinese are like right on top of the battlefield laser game right now.
The
Have they
China,
figured out how to feed their own people yet?
No, they'll never figure that out, but they'll be able
Okay.
to advance their killing technology. That's what communists do.
there's a lot of stuff that the Chinese have developed, which they might have it, but how good is it actually, and does it really work? It's like
A lot of the technology that they have is stolen from us.
yeah. Because part of the manufacturing agreements is they get to copy it, and then some of it they just straight steal.
Yeah, if I pay you to bake me a cake and you just make another one for yourself.
But like all the talk about the aluminum armor and stuff, they are not giving that to most of their soldiers. That's not the way the communist doctrine for battle is.
Do you remember the helmets with explosives in them? So if they didn't follow orders, the commander could just be like, beep, and blow their head up. Bad topic.
You look at a lot of stuff that not quite to the same degree. What people are saying about China now is what used to be said about Russia. And look at Russia and the Ukraine. They are not what everybody thought they were.
They are crazy.
Yeah.
The Chinese are right on their heels, though, as far as economy goes, becoming the number one economy in the world. They've stolen out so much of our green energy; it's unbelievable. And they start developing that stuff through technology that they stole from companies from the United States because they weren't protected. And then what does the United States do? They start buying that technology from China, which was originally developed from companies within the United States.
Well, that's what, we are funding them to be better than us.
We really are. And what the is that all about?
laziness and the desire for cheap goods.
Yeah, you have
I mean-
CEOs and corporate boards moving all their production to China because of the cost. They strictly go by the cost.
Offshore. For those who were like paying attention to that kind of thing, the tendency in the 80s for that to have begun on a scale that I didn't, at least, and many, I don't believe, thought it would reach the level that it has now. It is crazy to look back at those times and American production, what it once was. And I'm going to go right back to cheap consumer goods. It's a ransom, and it's not
back
worth
in
it.
like the World War II era, we were completely self-sufficient within this country. Didn't need help from anybody. Now you can't even get an aspirin without the help from China, an antibiotic or anything like that.
Yeah, nearly autonomous. Essentially autonomous.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And everybody talks about, raising the tariffs is going to raise the price of everything by maybe $1 or $2. Look at the price of things now, the way it's being run now. And if you bring things back within the U.S., then you strive for innovation and things like that for the U.S. based companies to thrive and innovate and create new technology. And otherwise, you're just sending all that shit over to a foreign nuclear power. That's our fucking sworn enemy.
And pacifist only 80 years ago. I mean, your reference there, World War II, we're talking 80 years. Divide that by the number of birth generations. It is difficult to fathom.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck are people thinking? It just shows you that people don't think. They don't really care. They only care about themselves and the convenience of the fucking day.
Ken Thompson, I got your email, so thank you, and I'll get that stuff sent out.
I'm sorry if I got you lit there, pacifist. We're talking about future cars and Rosie the robot, making us all a chicken pot pie or whatever it was, and sorry about that.
Never,
all good, bro. I'm always lit.
Never trust a robot or a monkey. I would never have a robot.
For the same reason.
On a side note, Ken joined the Gilded server. Thank you, Ken. And he has figured out that I like M1 Garens. I don't know how he noticed. It might have been my pictures on the Gorn channel. Might have gave it away.
Nightwoods, thanks for hanging out.
Do you like set me's?
I was this close to getting one, but wasn't meant to be.
Did he hold up his fingers when he said this close?
I did.
I saw that somebody, Sarco or some such like company, has the Set Me Out kits, and they're the 5.56 variants that are coming in. So yeah.
Those are probably illegal in Washington. Kits.
They're also cost prohibitive for a lot of folks. Yeah.
I will say I am happy. I have 4 M1 Garens. One of them is in 308, so I do have a 308 semi-auto. And my clips are only like $1.50 a piece instead of like $20 for a mag.
But isn't a 308 Garand just a converted 30-06 Garand?
Well, it's got a new barrel. That's basically the only difference. Yeah. So the Navy was using them instead of M14s. So that's why they converted some over.
The Navy have been odd holdouts, Marines as well. For a few special things like that. It's interesting.
Well, it was way cheaper to just throw a new barrel on those than to do a whole new gun. In fact, do they still use those? Or do they use M14s? When they shoot the line over to the other boat?
Interesting question.
That might be an M14.
I don't know.
But I do have a love for interesting versions of guns. So that was like one of the weird, like, Navy didn't want to spend a bunch of money, so like, just buy a bunch of barrels. It's a cool gun though. Some pre-Pearl Harbor M1 Garand, and it goes ping. So
looks like there's pictures of M14s, and there's one with M16.
For the line thrower.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun job, wouldn't it?
Catch. Bam.
Yeah.
Odd little note. It's one of the few things that I know about the modern Navy. No more semaphore. They don't do signaling with the little flags anymore. I'm kind of disappointed. I remember staring at those things in like a Boy Scout handbook or something and thinking that one day I would have like a secret code with all those at sea.
Oh, that's kind of like the military getting you rid of the Morse code.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, substantially similar. Right on.
I remember watching a podcast, and one of the hosts started blinking SOS on camera. And then the next show, he got kicked off and cut out of the company that he helped found. That was pretty funny. Poor guy.
Well, there was in Vietnam,
Yep.
one of the capture soldiers blinked Morse code.
Yeah, didn't he blink torture?
I don't remember what he blinked.
I think it was
And
torture.
there was one that tore holes in his shirt to be Morse code. So, I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about, or are we done? Did we shut her down, burn it to the ground?
I do have a request for the viewers. Please leave a comment. How should we send off the Discord channel?
Yeah.
Like, do we give it a Viking funeral, burn it to the ground? What do we do?
Ooh.
Oh, that
Okay.
reminds me, I didn't tell people to comment for those who are watching.
Batman
replay.
videos.
So if you're watching this in replay, leave a comment. Anything we talked about, anything you think we got right, think we got wrong, love to hear everybody's comments. Mike Clune.
No.
Mike Clune saying, I remember signal flags from Boy Scouts. My dad was Navy and remember him talking about them. Having a copy of his Blue Jacket book also. I used to know how to do my name, but I don't remember. That was a long time ago. Mike McLuhan saying, burn it to the ground.
I'll have to code a bot that'll do that for us. Dumpster fire bot. It'll just burn everything and post a bunch of bad gifts.
Was Wesley Foster saying Viking funeral? Pink saying, keep it up, fill it with misinformation and false truth, so the anti-gunners will think they're winning.
Oh no, we're the 2A's never going to win. Just post a bunch of stuff like that.
Ministry of Disinformation. Nice riff, Pink.
I was thinking about keeping up one channel that's locked with the Gilded Link.
Nice Easter egg.
Because our old videos do point to it.
It's not a bad idea.
But then we leave it open to the toxic septic tank that is Discord. Right?
Yeah.
It's like the One Ring, throw it into the fire. The steel door. He takes it, he's like, no, I'm going to use it for good. Maybe we should just throw it into Mount Doom. Get rid of it. That was some nerdy shit.
So who's going to jump on your back and bite your finger off?
No, I'm trying to avoid that whole thing. See, we'd have Frodo and Gollum if we don't throw it into the fire. Right?
So, all right. Well, I guess we're out of stuff. We're all tired.
Inside joke. If anyone from the server was going to jump on my back and bite my finger off, I think it'd be Charger.
Well, DJ, anything you want to plug?
Well, Barbecue is here, and I almost always steal his thunder and refer to his channel and its programming. And so, if no one caught today's A Great Start Shooting School channel's Suicide Saturday, please check it out next week. Brooke Cheney has that conversation each Saturday. It had some really great information this week. It's kind of new stuff. a network and resource thing for folks that want to be of assistance or seek assistance themselves. And so beyond that, Foss, be safe, have fun, carry your guns, rock.
Why don't you grab a link for that and drop it in?
I'll work on that.
Guns and barbecue.
Howdy.
Plug away.
Go check out DM Foss's non-existent Patreon channel. It's pretty awesome. Be sure to check out their Gilded. It sounds amazing. I haven't made it my way over there yet for anything, but for everything I'm hearing, Gilded sounds awesome. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we got the Ampy show. Then next Saturday is the final barbecue chats. If you were ever a winner of one of the free slots on the barbecue chat, then you are entered into the giant grand prize drawing thing automatically that I will be doing Saturday. There's 54 entries in total because that's how many winners we had over that period of time. So giving away a pretty awesome prize. So be sure to tune in next Saturday for the final barbecue chat. And thanks for the link post. And I'm going to have to get back to sleep because I woke up because the dogs woke me up to go outside.
I appreciate you jumping in, and have a good 4th of July.
Yeah, you as well. Appreciate the link.
Pacifist.
Are we still live?
We are.
Theoretically.
Thanks for the invite, brother. I appreciate it. Trying to stay active with my channel. Doing a lot of shorts and whatnot these days. Trying to get a little bit creative because I can't afford any new and cool guns this year. 2 young children, and yada yada. The price of everything up and above what I'm used to paying for. But anyways, check out everybody on this panel, everybody listening. DJ, Baron, Guns of Barbecue, especially DM Foss. All cool channels. Check those guys out. And thanks again, brother. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Gun Toting Pacifist put out a video. Well, I guess it's yesterday now.
I'm starting to like really love the editing portion of putting together videos and trying to like tap the recesses of my brain.
Yeah,
stuff,
it's fun, but it's pretty funny. So check it out. I'm one of the people that like editing.
Yeah, I'm like the weirdo. Everybody's like, "Oh, editing, it sucks," and blah blah blah. I fucking love editing. I love editing.
I'll sit down and do like an animation with, might just be a bullet going across the screen, and I'll spend 3 hours making that bullet go across the screen.
Exactly.
It's relaxing.
Well, I
spend hours making shitpost videos that people take serious for reasons I'll never understand.
Oh, Baron, you have some really good posts on Instagram.
Thank you.
I wouldn't say it's relaxing, because everything I do, every project, working on cars, working on bikes, building something, I will enjoy what I'm doing. But while I'm doing it, I'm swearing the whole time.
Yeah, there's a certain tension involved in it, but it's so satisfying.
Yeah. I was working on my bike, bikes I used to have. And I'm out there, outside, and I'm swearing and throwing stuff. And my wife comes out and she goes, "It doesn't look like you're having a good time." And I'm like, "What do you mean? I love this."
Yeah.
Like you're doing a bonsai tree and you're cursing at it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You son of a motherless goat.
That'd make a good short.
Fighting a tree.
Yeah. How to do a bonsai tree. You clip the wrong thing off and you're just like, motherfucker.
Is there anything you'd like to plug, Baron?
The Gilded. Come join us if you're not an asshole. If you are, feel free to get banned. We're waiting. That's a fun thing. No one is banned over there because it's brand new.
I think I just joined your Gilded. I'm not sure.
Welcome.
You did.
One of us. Google.
And if it wasn't you, I gave the person
Google
that did
Goggle.
mod abilities. So
And I'll say Ken Thompson picked a great name for Gilded because I love beagles. They have a special place in my heart.
me too.
So, whoops. Where am I? There we go. Is there anything I'm supposed to say? What am I supposed to say?
Fuck Discord.
What? I appreciate everybody that's been out in the side out in the live chat participating. That makes it so much more fun when there's more people out there interacting with us. And I appreciate everybody that's been on the panel because it would be short and boring without people on the panel. And Baron, as always, I appreciate you being here. This would not happen. It would not have started if it wasn't for you. You are my muse. You are my everything. But other than that, I hope everybody
whispering in your ear. I'm the toad whispering in your ear.
I hope everybody has a good 4th of July. And remember, you have rights, and they are important. So treasure them. And if you're up in the morning, check out Gizzard Gary's Early Bird Chat. And other than that, I don't know. I hope everybody has a good day.
You still here? It's over. Go home.